You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. Hi there, Slow Down Society. Steph here, and we are on episode number 69. I hope you are doing well, and I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and for sharing this podcast with your friends, because the more you share, the more the message kind of just spreads out, and the more people that kind of come and join into the Slow Down Society. And I truly believe the more, the merrier. So if you find value in these episodes and you know that it could be helpful or useful to someone else in your social circle, I would love for you to just share. There's no need to really be big and noisy about it. I'm happy for you to just text the episode along to whomever you think you might benefit. So thank you. I'm recording on a very, very chilly but clear and beautiful California, San Francisco Bay Area day. So the sun is finally shining after too many days in a row of kind of dark and dreariness. And we had a lot of kind of just storms, and I know it made national news and maybe even international news, and we were fine. So thank you for the emails and the concern, but we were fine. Our family was fine. Everybody was fine. But it was definitely dark and kind of dreary-ish, and it sort of sparked a thought in my brain, and I was kind of marinating on this idea for a while, and then it came up in a coaching call this week, and then the idea also sort of came to light again. We had an extended family dinner, and so there were a few different generations there, and the idea that was kind of bouncing around in my brain was whether or not, in order to make change happen, to move forward in your dreams and your goals and your aspirations, if there should be suffering. And it kind of goes back to that phrase, no pain, no gain. And if that's you, and if that's your mindset, and if that's something that you believed in, that nothing good happens unless you are suffering through something or sort of pushing through to get to the other side, I want you really to kind of question that and figure out where that comes from. Is that an idea that you actually believe, or is it just something that you're going along with because that's how you were raised, or that's how people in your social circle talk or act? And let's shine a little bit of light on it. And so again, I'm recording this on a bright, sunny, gorgeous day. It's cold. It's very, very cold, but the sun is shining. And leading up to this shiny, beautiful, bright day were weeks of gray and kind of dark and dismalness. And if you really think about it, of whether or not there should be suffering, or whether or not suffering is kind of a necessary evil, maybe you think, well, going through all of that drudgery to get to today, a beautiful, bright, sunny day where it was fun to go out in the yard and pull weeds and go for a super long walk with Sheldon and go for a run and feel the sunshine on my cheeks. Were those weeks of kind of dark misery worth it to get to today? And the answer is no. I do not believe that. I do not believe in any way that you need to trudge along and be miserable in your day-to-day in order to get somewhere else or to the other side or to chase the perpetual rainbow. No. You have a choice on any given day and any given hour, minute, second to decide what you can do to position yourself in a better way, in a brighter way, in a lighter way. So for instance, I was on a coaching call, and the lady I was talking to was absolutely lovely and wonderful, but she lived in the Pacific Northwest, and it had been very overcast, very kind of blah, and the sun hadn't shined in a long time. So I asked her, and I said, well, do you have one of those daylight lamps? And she said, yes. And I said, are you using it? And she just laughed and laughed, because we all know what we can be doing or could be doing to make the here and the now a little bit better. So if you have the daylight lamp, use it. Do the things that would make every day just a teeny tiny bit better in some way. And don't put it off. Don't just decide that when you're in a better mood or you're feeling better or the stars are aligned in a certain way, then you'll do the thing. Nope. The joy is in the journey. This is it. This is now. And if we're lucky, life is long, and you should absolutely enjoy to the best ability you can every single day. So this comes up a lot also in the kind of FIRE circles I'm in, which is the Financial Independence Retire Early. And there's a few different episodes on that. But the idea that you are kind of shoveling the money into a pot, and then when the pot hits a certain number, then you'll have fun. Then you'll loosen up. Then you'll go to Starbucks and get the double tall, non-fat, no whip mocha. So there's a happy medium. So I'm going to use money as an example. I get excited to save money. I get the same sort of high and excitement and dopamine kind of fix as someone would get if they were a shopaholic. I actually don't enjoy spending. That said, if I am in the mood for a double tall, non-fat, no whip mocha from Starbucks or something else, I'm not going to deprive myself in any way. And so just kind of think about it as you're going through your day. Is there something that you're depriving yourself of? And if you just did it or just sort of leaned into it or just made a different decision in your brain, if you could kind of turn off the suffering and really enjoy and have fun and smile and just realize that this is here and this is now, and you're never going to get another today. You're never going to get another hour just like this one ever again. And so what can you do to smile a little bit bigger and enjoy yourself a little bit more? The idea of suffering also kind of comes up when I'm talking to parents, and they have and I'm sure we've all had this, the kind of sort of old school backwards parenting philosophy of, well, I had to walk 5 miles to school in the snow, uphill, both ways. And so the idea that the next generation has to suffer in that sort of similar way in order to show their worthiness or to show that they've got skin in the game. And if that's a bit of you also, I want you to kind of delve into that a little bit and decide, is that something that you really believe in? Do you really think that because you may have had a hard time growing up, that it's only fair for your children to have a hard time? And maybe if you were bullied in school, it makes sense that your kid should also be bullied in school. And really think about that, because that's not what we want for our kids. I think we all want our children in some way to have it much better and much easier than we had it. And that's what we're working towards. That's what we're trying to help. We're trying to help the next generation. We're not trying to destroy the planet. We're not trying to destroy the economy. We want to help our children so they don't have to necessarily, quote unquote, suffer the way we did. That said, a little bit of kind of tightening belts and really being scrappy and self-sufficient is obviously fantastic for kids. And I look back on the early years of marriage when Adam and I would move the couch cushions and find enough change that we could go to Taco Bell. I do. I look back on that fondly. Does that mean that I want that for my kids and I want them to feel as if they don't have $4.77 to go get a few burrito supremes from Taco Bell? No. My hope is that they are not feeling that sort of pressure and financial pull in the same way. But I also do want them to be a little scrappy and have some good brains on their shoulder and realize that it's not what you make, it's what you save, and that sort of thing. There's another sort of school of thought where some people take it, and especially with parenting, to like a huge extreme. And for a while the I don't know, was it as a moniker, the name, the kind of bumper sticker slogan for that kind of parenting was helicopter parenting. And then it got changed to bulldozer parenting, that you never want your kids to have any sort of obstacles. So you smooth everything over and you mow it down and you bulldoze every obstacle out of their way. That is not what I'm talking about in the slightest. I truly believe that the next generation, we are raising future adults. And so adults need to learn how to adult properly. And their mommy and their daddy are not always going to be there to fix the things for them. So that's not what I'm talking about. But it doesn't mean that it's you having to pay your dues in order to feel worthy or to feel as if you have to suffer in some way to get to the next thing. This comes up an awful lot when it comes to dieting and mindset around losing weight. And it does come up here and there in my coaching calls. And so I want to shed some light on that also. And I think it comes, again, from this all or nothing mentality, that you're going to suffer through a diet or you're going to suffer through an eating plan to get to the other side. And that is what kind of leads to this sort of yo-yo weight fluctuation mentality. And I think we all know that that doesn't work. And what is best is to do little teeny tiny incremental changes and habits over time that you can stick with in the long haul. And you're not racing and sprinting to some certain number or some certain situation or date on the calendar, but instead you're going to enjoy the journey and enjoy the change and the natural sort of habits and lifestyle tweaks and modifications that come up when you embark upon a new eating plan. And so I think it's really just shifting that all or nothing, this is it, this is what we're doing kind of mindset and mentality. Because that's when people get discouraged and they feel kind of down on themselves and they start beating themselves up in their brain and thinking that nothing they ever do is good enough or right because they are so gung-ho in one direction that they forget that real life has ups and downs and in-betweens and all arounds. So I hope that was helpful for you in some way. And let me know, write to me. I'm at steph@stephanieodea.com. I absolutely will answer you back and tell me, how has this sort of all or nothing mentality and this no pain, no gain mantra rung true to you in your life? And how are you going to sort of shift that to make it make more sense for you as you're moving forward, and how you're going to model that behavior for your children and for the future generations? I would love to hear from you because I know I'm not alone in this thinking. And just being aware and paying attention is how lifelong lasting change happens. And today is not yesterday. And who you are right now is not who you were before. And you can absolutely change your mind on a dime. Okay. Consider yourself loved and hugged. This one was short and sweet. I will see you next week, and take care. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieodea.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.